Hi, I'm Heather from Heather Handmade. Today I'm going to teach you how to refashion a t-shirt that is too small. So I had these two t-shirts that had these graphics on them and I loved them. I think they're fun. These are both kind of like themed graphic t-shirts. This one's a Harry Potter one and this is a Pirates of the Caribbean one. But in the summertime, I would look at them and I would want to wear them, but I never pulled them out of my closet. And I realized they were just too tight for the summer. They were just uncomfortable. It made me feel hotter when I was wearing them because they were tight, so it keeps the heat in. Anyway, so I wanted to refashion them so that I would still be able to keep the graphic, but put it on a different t-shirt. So actually what I did is I cut out the design from the original t-shirt and then I sewed it onto a bigger t-shirt, and now I can wear it a lot and I'll love it because it's bigger. I give you some tips for how to sew the knit fabric, like the graphic, onto the t-shirt without warping the fabric. Now I will say that I didn't get this idea on my own. My friend Stephanie from Susan Says, she came up with this idea, but what she does is she takes kids' clothes that have gotten too small and then she refashions them on a bigger t-shirt, but she uses like the graphics and she cuts out shapes and it's very colorful. It's really fun, way cooler than these very simple kind of boring neutral t-shirts. So check out her website. I put the link down in the description. You can do it like this one. This one I used matching stitching, so you basically can't tell that I did anything to it. It basically looks like I bought it this way. This one I thought it would be fun to add some stitching, especially because the grays were different, so I thought this stitching would make it look intentional and on purpose. So let's get started. These are the two t-shirts that are too small, and I'm going to be putting this graphic onto these two larger t-shirts. I'm going to be using some scissors and sewing tools, and then I'm going to use both. This is like a tricot interfacing. It's a very lightweight interfacing and it's stretchy because it's a knit fabric. And then the other one, this is like the soft stretch double-sided adhesive that you can use to like iron it on, and then it like will, when you iron it onto the t-shirt, then it will fuse on. And I'm going to try both of them to see which one I like better. So the first thing I'm going to do is either cut out the double-sided adhesive or the fusible interfacing. So I'm going to use the double-sided adhesive for this one because it's basically the right shape. So I'm going down to there and up to here. I'm just going to cut this straight across. So this, I will eventually iron this to the very back, and then I can cut out the design. And now I'm going to do this one. Okay, so what you're going to do, you take your t-shirt and you are going to turn it right side out. Then you're going to take a marking tool. This is Taylor's chalk. It just will disappear when you iron it. And I'm going to go through and mark the sides and the top and the bottom of the design so I can put the interfacing in the right place. So now lay it flat and make sure that there's no wrinkles underneath. And take either your double-sided adhesive or your interfacing and place it so it's within those edges that you marked. And then fuse this in place. I just ironed this one on. I marked the sides and the top, and this is in place, so I'm going to let that cool before I peel it off. Now you are going to turn your t-shirt right side out again. I left the paper in that one because I want to cut it out with the paper. It'll be easier to cut if the paper is still there. Now you get to decide what kind of shape you want your, like how you're going to cut it out. Do you want to just follow the design so it's kind of like a unique shape? Do you want it to be like an oval or a square or a rectangle? So that's kind of your decision how you want to do it. So this one, I think I'm going to do a little bit more of a circle, kind of like an oval, but I want it to be even. I want the bottom of these two letters to be like lined up with the same line across. So for now, I'm going to mark a rectangle. So that looks nice and even on both sides. Each corner I'm going to round slightly so I can just have kind of like a rounded oval rectangle shape. And then once I cut this out, I will put these corners together so I can make sure that they're, you know, cut so that it looks the same. And then this one I'm going to do a rectangle. Now if you're really worried about a straight line, you can cut it with a rotary cutter and a rotary blade, but I'm just going to be using scissors. And these t-shirts will now become fabric that I can refashion or use for something else. These are great hems along the bottom and on the sides to reuse. Now these are both ready to put onto the other t-shirt. So this one that is the double-sided adhesive, I'm actually going to peel the paper backing off now. So this one's ready to be pinned on, but this one I actually need to iron onto the t-shirt first. And I get to decide where I'm going to place the design. So I'm not going to go quite up to the top. It's going to be about 2 inches from the top. And then I'm going to measure on each side because I want to make sure that it is even. And then I'm going to fuse this in place. I don't know what this graphic is made out of, so you can cover it with a pressed cloth or like a Teflon thing because you don't want to accidentally ruin that design by ironing it. Now that it's cooled off, I can check, I'm kind of checking the edges and they seem just fine. And this surprisingly blends in very well, even though it's two different t-shirts. So now I'm gonna go around and stitch this in place. I'm going to use gray so that it blends in. And I'm not gonna go right along the edge, but about 1/8 of an inch from the edge and backstitch when I end so that it secures the thread. And since this one is fused on, I don't have to pin it, so this one will stay in place as I'm sewing. Now for this one, I'm going to pin it on. It has that interfacing on the back, and I just need to decide on the placement and getting it even. So I'm going to pin around the edges, but only pinning through one layer. I'm going to do a green that's similar to this color to stitch around. I'm just going to do a straight stitch, and I'm going to do it 1/8 inch from the edge and then back stitch at the end so that I lock the stitch. Once you have sewn them on, you can give them one more press, especially the one that used interfacing probably needs a good press before it's ready to be worn. This one didn't need a press. It actually looked really good. I will say now that they're done, I think this is a lighter weight one. This is gonna drape or like feel closer to just like a regular t-shirt. This is stiffer, but it was easier to apply and easier to sew, and it's really not that much stiffer than a regular t-shirt, but it's going to not drape as nicely as this one. And that's how you refashion a t-shirt that is too small to make it bigger on a different t-shirt. Check out these playlists with refashion and upcycling projects and projects for altering your clothes. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you have a wonderful day.